This meeting is being recorded.
The sense of moment is perceiving one's own movement. Proprioception, the sense of balance, is centeredness within oneself. Disturbed senses of moment and balance. The sad, withdrawn, dejected. What is happening? Brooding child. Inability to move with the world, inability to freely imitate, difficulty in engaging in creative play with other children, inability to inwardly experience the imprinting of external sense impressions, lack of spontaneity, joy, flexibility, or ability to conform, poor articulation, does not resonate within, clumsy movement, difficulty sitting in chair in class, wandering during circle, recesses, games, looks lost, shocked when yelled at or dealt with in a strong manner, stranded in the midst of activity, in panic if things get too hectic, inability to hold the thread in conversation, sense of paralysis, helplessness, or being excluded.
Yeah, continue.
Underlying condition, weakened ability to imitate. These children are easily overwhelmed by movement in the environment, by hectic and chaotic activity. They are unable to pursue inwardly, imitate, assimilate, integrate, or understand what comes to them from others to the world. This makes socialization and play with others challenging. Balance is our sense of being centered in ourselves and safe, a place from which we can move with confidence and comfort. Children whose sense of balance has been disturbed lack the foundation for later socialization and the moral capacities of compassion, empathy, sensing the inner needs of others. They may be inwardly rigid or compulsive, concerned only with the self and personal inner activity.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we are talking about the sense of movement, which is proprioception, and the sense of balance. And here he says, overwhelmed by the movement in the environment. And this is in the first stage of child development. So when there is too much movement in the world around me, like waking child up very quickly, rushing the child to go somewhere, or asking the child to come back from the play quickly, or changing of the teachers when they're in the classroom, several of them move in and out. When child is aligned with one teacher, someone else walks in and one teacher drops doing whatever and starts a conversation with other adult. That disturbs the child. So any imaginable movement that you can think of, and if there is no sense of balance, no sense of disturbed sense of movement, then the child is overwhelmed. So typically in the world of classroom, we allow enough time for children to make this transition from one activity to other. It could be moving out of the classroom for play or moving back into the classroom. We are not rushing child. We are giving them enough time to wind up what they're doing and allow them to be comfortable and join in. Last week or week before, I think we had a parent training session where we started this transitioning, and one of the parents, three of them were left behind. They were coloring and they wanted to finish it. They did not want to join, but when the rest of us were forming the circle and singing the transition song, two of them kind of managed, but one of them just couldn't or wouldn't want to stop. I think she was even not aware that we were waiting on her. She was so engaged in doing the activity she was. So at one point of time, we said, that's fine. She can continue doing whatever she's doing. That is where she's, that's something she's enjoying. And we continued with the circle time, with the transition time, and we stopped, and then we started the next activity, and she joined in and she caught up. And that's typically what we do. Some children need a lot more time than we can allow in a classroom setup. But as parents, we definitely can allow that. Understanding that we need to allow the transition is extremely important, because somehow we are in our own world. If we don't, that's what he says in the very end, children whose sense of balance has been disturbed lack the foundation for later socialization and moral capacities of compassion, empathy, sensing the inner needs of others. So they appear to be insensitive. They do not worry so much about even if something bad is happening to somebody, they don't have the ability to be empathetic. And they could become inwardly rigid or compulsive. And that is what we are seeing in children these days. Concerned only with self and personal inner activity. They really don't give a damn to what's happening outside, because somewhere they lost this trust with people around. So their coping mechanism was to be with themselves, to stay with themselves. That is the safe. I don't have to interact. I can just be myself. And when being myself becomes a habit, then it is my way. I do it my way. I don't have to align, play along, do something with others, wait for others to join before we have lunch, or even invite people over, or have courtesy to wait or offer something. All of that is lost. And Steiner also wants in other readings that we have done that once lost, it is very difficult to get it back. We'll have to put a lot of effort. And many of us are in that phase. Healing ourselves takes a lot of time. And not just, for me to recognize that I need healing, I need somebody else to point it out for me. If I'm lucky enough to find a mentor or a good teacher or some life situation that happens to me, I would not even wake up. That's the extreme of it. But there are a lot of gray shades in between, but we need to be aware of that. All right.
Important inner qualities for the parent or teacher. Unsentimental empathy for everything and everyone. Compassion as an active example for imitation. Loving and patient attention to all that he or she does to help the child feel at peace and integrated in the body. Genuine active tolerance. An environment of movement and activities that are worthy of imitation. Meaningful, beautiful, clear, well-formed speech. Meaningful, musical or rhythmical movement and gesture. Love expressed through the body towards the child, others, and the world. Opportunities for play and free movement of arms and legs. Games of balance and symmetry and special dynamics. Practical activities of daily life that involve lifting heavy objects, baking bread, digging, proprioceptive stimulation, and so forth. Opportunities for imitation. Ordered, meaningful process, for example, working with wool from carding to finish the product, baking, cooking, and modeling. Music, recitation, dance.
Thank you. A few of these are very important. Definitely, I would suggest you to look over. Genuine active tolerance. We don't want to fake. Children will easily sense what is when we are genuine and when we aren't. So being aware that the child needs support, being aware that child may not have established the complete sense of balance and movement will make us become tolerant, will make us want to support the child rather than force them, compare, push to do something better, all of those things. And the second point is we have had it enough times, worthy of imitation. Am I worthy of imitation? Do I want my child to become like what I am? Many of it they will imitate from me, the significant caregiver around the child, a teacher in the classroom, or parents at home, grandparents at home, or any other significant adult who the child sees on regular basis. So are we worthy of imitation? Another point is well-formed speech. Am I careful when I speak? Am I talking the right words? Am I being considerate? Am I thinking over what I'm speaking? And am I using the right gestures? Because children are just not imitating our language, they're also imitating our gestures, our attitudes. So we need to be aware of all this. This is about, because he's talking about inner qualities for the parent or the teacher. Some of the games to develop balance would be that of symmetry. You know, whatever I do on my right side, I do on my left. Whatever I do on the front, I do in the back. Whatever I do above, I do below. Jump up and sit down. Those kinds of things. And anything to do with practical activities will definitely help, because there's a sense of fulfillment, sense of contentment when we do the practical activities. Something at home, folding clothes, filling water bottles, anything. Everything that we do, if child can do it, we should let them do it. All right.
Summary. There is no such thing as a lazy, contrary, or mean child by nature. Every child wants to learn, be successful, and receive unconditional love and praise. All bodily sense disturbed children display a lack of confidence and trust in their ability to act. These are disturbances of the will. All are inner senses which lay the foundation of subsequent moral and social development. Unruliness indicates a disturbed sense of life, that is well-being. Insecurity indicates a disturbed sense of touch. A lack of inner understanding indicates the disturbed senses of movement and balance. Remember, encouragement, unconditional validation and love, reverence for all things, confidence building through accomplishing meaningful deeds, quiet mindfulness of the child's weaknesses and what he or she cannot do, but not confrontational. Acknowledgement of small success and work with the individual strengths, help in following through on all tasks and praise for accomplishment, transformation of I cannot into I will try, recognition of the child's true incarnating self and early chosen karma, acknowledgement of the courage needed to face the difficulties and to meet what is challenging, supportive working between teachers and parents, work with the child's angel, addressing the cause of the behavior, not the symptom.
All right, summary. Then he talks about all bodily sense disturbed children. Bodily sense disturbed. their soul and spirit are still intact. It's just in the body, but the body is the one that will want us to do something. The action that is coming from the will, there are the disturbances. So whenever a child is unable to do something, please understand that it is not that they're lazy, not that they're mean, but it is just something is disturbed in them and they are unable to do. So there are quite a few things that are listed out here that we could do to bring that balance back, establish that balance back. Some of the ones I like to highlight here is reverence for all things. Me as a parent or a teacher having reverence for the child with whatever he or she is doing, be in gratitude for the child is able to do whatever they're able to do. And then you can think about what else can you do to establish confidence through bringing the balance. It is praise for accomplishment. However trivial the accomplishment is, not just good work at the very end, but also for the process that the child is going through to accomplish a task. The process is more important than the outcome. So it should not be like, you do this, then I'll get you this, or I'll take you somewhere. It's not transactional, but again, genuine praise for the accomplishment and the process also. Recognition of the child's true incarnating self and earthly chosen karma. I'm not sure how many of you are aligned with the spiritual inputs that anthroposophy gives or Steiner gives, but the meaning here is the child or the soul body, the soul of the child before the birth chose this body in which the child is right now, to be born in a certain time to a certain parents with certain composure, with certain temperament, with certain body composition. So the child is chosen that, has chosen that, and wants to accomplish something as destiny in this life for the child. And if I understand that for my child, then I would try and be a catalyst in the process, support the child get to the destiny that they have chosen to achieve in this lifetime. And it helps a lot. It doesn't say anything about whether I'm a good parent or caring or not caring or whatever that is, but it is also my destiny that I have chosen this child at soul level, and the child has chosen me also at the soul level. And here we are both face to face in this lifetime for how much more time we are given together to support each other to evolve. There's a lot of material that if you want to read out there to understand this bit more, but I think this is sufficient for now. And last but one point where he says, work with the child's angel. Again, this is from the spiritual component of anthroposophy, where Steiner says that each of us have two angels to support us. If we develop the super sensible organs, if I can see beyond what my physical eye can see, that's clairvoyance. And if I can hear beyond what my ears hear, that's clairaudience. If I develop these skills, we will be able to reach out to the universal energies and support that's available to us, the spiritual beings who are available to us, the spirit guides and the angels who are available to us. So somewhere I need to get a little deep down connected with the child's angels. And for that, I need to be connected with my own angels. So somewhere at night, when the astral and the ego body separate from my physical and etheric body, there is some kind of a knowledge download that happens. And if you do go to bed with an intense question, and if you remember it the minute you wake up, and you kind of recollect or wait for some indication, many people have experienced to get that indication much needed for us, for the question that we had in mind before going to sleep. So one of the exercises that Steiner suggests is for us to meditate on the children that we are working with on daily basis, especially the ones who we are unable to understand or help. And if I can connect to them in the soul space, I would have some inputs to work with children who are a little disturbed here and there. And then I would know what to do with that child. So we know, I mean, there is normal saying that this doctor, his handwork, he has his hands have that power to heal. That is that same doctor with the same degree, with the same amount of experience, having worked together, whatever, another one may not have it. There is some kind of input that one doctor is getting that the other is not. And somewhere we say it is magic, or spirit, or God has blessed him, whatever, in the local languages we call. So we need to encash on that. All of us have it. But we need to be aware, we need to work, we need to practice to get that. And children are the best ones to push us to look a little bit more inwards, a little bit more beyond what is just physical. All right.
Prayer for little children. From my head to my feet, I am the image of God. From my heart to my hands, His breath I do feel. When I speak with my mouth, I follow God's will. When I behold God everywhere, in mother and father, in brother and sister, and in all dear people, in beast and in stone, in tree and in flower, nothing brings fear but love to all that is around me. Rudolf Steiner.
Great.
Some pictures they have shown.
Yeah. So we have page 79.
Home program to address developmental issues. Be creative. Remember to give your child time to practice these activities so they can learn and develop the skills properly. These activities include suggestion from a variety of resources, including an occupational therapist, the world of kindergarten, and my own remedial and pedagogical work. Remember, children learn through play far more than adults realize. Let the innate wisdom of their play prevail and learn to play with them.
You can continue.
Activities for vestibular stimulation. Play with a large beach or physio ball, which the child can lie on top of, roll over, sit on, bounce, and so forth, with the parent supervision. Roll or slide in a cardboard box down a hill. Wheelbarrow rides, jump on stepping stones or trampoline. Beds are good too. Make use of playground equipment or backyard swing set, merry-go-round, slide, swing, teeter-totter, jungle gym, and so forth. Climb up stairs and jump with the feet together, swing in a hammock, play jump rope games, walk on a balance beam or a thick rope, rock on a balance or a rocker board.
Yeah. So vestibular stimulation is where the inner ear controls the balance and the head position. So we need this, especially when you spin and you stop, you continue to feel giddy. Some of them feel more giddy, some of them feel less of it. So eventually any of the disorders would be like dizziness, vertigo, you may have blurred vision, you may have like falling and things like that. And this is one of the important senses or systems that we need to develop for children. And all of these activities, which is fun, which children naturally love to do, would be good to do regularly, especially in the school setup and even at home. Some of these can be easily done at home as well. If you have noticed, some children, they don't like to get on the swing, or they don't like on the hammock. They don't like to jump very much. They're too scared. And all of these need time to develop their vestibular system. All right.
Activities to improve a tactile perception. Exploration of wide variety of textures, clay, sand, paint, and so forth. Kneading bread dough for baking. Deep pressure massage of feet, legs, and back. Burrito wrap. Rolling the child in a blanket for a deep pressure and calming. Firm pressure rub downs after bath time and before bedtime. Treasure box. Fill a large box with a different sized beans. Have a child sit in the box and search with his or her fingers for treasures. Thimble, shell, wooden animals, small doll, and so forth. Drawing in the sand, making angels in the snow, sand, or on a carpet. Carrying a heavy bean bags or groceries when shopping. Help with the wheelbarrow in the garden.
Yep. Tactile is the sense of touch. And we need to feel that pressure, the temperature, the textures, on the skin. So we understand what it is like. Some of us are super sensitive. We don't want to touch something that's slimy, something that's gooey. We are not very comfortable with things like that. So working with activities given here will help us build that sense of touch and the pressure. So we feel in the body, and feeling in the body is extremely essential to experience the balance and also the movement. So they're all interrelated, they're correlated, and we definitely need to pay attention to that. So we'll stop here today.
Okay.